just I guess this would be episode 17. And quit calling them day 17 because I got a whole lot more than 17 days in this thing. Basically, it's just a little update where I am on it. I've got went ahead and built this afternoon for it. I've got to bolt it on yet, but it's got that built. All the aluminum parts or diamond plates can be painted black and probably have that non-slick coating put on them. That I don't like the shine personally. I want them to be black. So got all the fenders and I guess side shrouds and hood and everything else put back on, basically mocking it up, make sure everything's gonna fit right before I start looking at painting all that. Kind of a holding pattern on the painting until I get the tires on the back. I'm gonna go up to the 26-inch tall tires, so I want to make sure that everything's gonna fit right and work okay with the new tires before I start painting. That way, if I have to do something as extreme as a body lift on it just to deal with the bigger tires, then I will. But it's getting the 26 12/12s on there. So got all the fuel relocated on it. Turn the torch on so y'all can see better. This is a piece of diamond plate here to cover the old fuel filler. Enlarged this hole a little bit, tried to keep, and then I was able to find this filler neck from Summit Racing and mounted that on there. A lot better options than any of the other PVC options I was thinking about. Remounted the seat, moved it back a little bit further, as well as I welded on a piece of square tubing underneath it to give it a little bit of height to clear the fenders, and then brought it back a little bit further even from where it was. I think this piece of channel here, I think I'm gonna change this out and do the same thing I did on the back side, which is I welded the piece of square tubing to the frame and then just bolted it here. So I'll probably do the same thing here, bring it over a little bit further, that way it's got a little bit more purchase. Keep any side to side rock out of it, even though it's solid as hell now doing that. So I spent some time today, of course it's Labor Day. There's Mr. Grizzly and Mr. Bruin, shop management. And I cleaned up all the sheet metal on it. Actually doesn't look half bad. I am going to be repainting it, but like I said, I'm waiting until I get the rear tires put in before I start looking at doing any final paint work. And as you can probably tell, if you look at where I cut the old footrest off, I need to do a little bit more reshaping there. This side's a little better, but still needs a little bit more work. I'm going to be checking tomorrow about getting a stick of 1/2-inch square tube, and I'm gonna build me a custom grill to go in it instead of buying one. I keep looking at them on eBay. I can probably get one delivered for about $70, but I probably have another 2 to 3 hours labor in it. Just clean the damn thing up, where if I take a little time, I can build one out of square tube. It'll probably be better anyway. So I'm gonna start working on that here pretty quick as far as that goes. All the mechanical issues with it, with exception of brakes, have pretty much been resolved on it. So mechanically it's good and sound, and I've been running the heck out of it around my neighborhood, not being nice to it at all, just to see how it was going to hold up, see if I ran into any issues with it. The rebuild work I did on the variator tensioner has held up great. Everything else is done real well on it too, so I think mechanically I'm pretty much there. It's just now it's a matter of getting it to look nice, and like I say, I want to get those new rear tires on there before I start working on the final bit of the paint work and everything else. So anyway, that's where I'm at. I've been not only laboring on that, but just a real quick, this is my laboratory, I guess. I've got a small machine shop in the back corner. I got my old Atlas lathe. I set this little Ryobi bandsaw up with a metal blade to cut this aluminum out. Just makes it a little quicker. My big Powermatic drill press. My 1939 Bridgeport mill, which is mainly been used on woodworking, but I'm going to do some work to it and probably take it back into the metalworking realm here pretty quick. I'm an avid woodworker. I do custom cabinetry as a side business, so you got all my plane, or my two wood planes there, one of my dust collectors, my Grizzly bandsaw, drum sanders, orbital sanders, and then the back of the shop is basically my hand tool and wood lathe, and a lot of my antique hand tools that I still use, and my big long rail arm saw, and of course my Grizzly table saw. So anyway, this is my big laboratory, and then I've set the garage over at the house up more of the mechanical shop, so try to keep the grease out of here. Anyway, there it be. It's definitely coming along, and it's looking better and better every time I turn around.